Hey, how you guys doing out there? And welcome to the Sports Plug. I am your host Xavier Williams with my special guest. First of all, let me introduce you guys to him. He is a Super Bowl winner, as you
Oh,
can see by his shirt. I have to
oh,
introduce him the right
I
way
gotta.
because this gentleman here, we met at the AFC Championship game in Kansas City, out in the frozen Arrowhead Stadium, and this gentleman he taught me. I mean, he showed me such a great time out in Kansas City. I just wanted to bring him on and show him nothing but love and make sure that everybody know out here that this is nothing but love and respect out here in the sports world. Even though we lost the game, I just want to, of course, pay respect and homage to the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, KC McKinney. Tell the people out here about you.
Oh man, I think you did a pretty darn good job there to start it out. Not much else to say. Chiefs, man. I'm glad we showed you a good time at that game. We always try to play nice with everybody else that's out there. I know not everybody does, but these crazy things happen. Also, co-hosting over here at Just Another Football Show. Happy to have another football fan out here running a show, doing what they love. So, we're looking to collaborate whenever you want and have a little fun.
And like he said, he's the co-host of Just Another Football Show. So we'll have links, of course, in our YouTube channel. You can check that out. Just Another Football Show. So, of course, what we're doing here, we're recapping the first round of the NFL 2020 draft, virtual draft. Unfortunately, they could not have it in Vegas, of course, due to Corona. So they have a virtual draft. So, of course, first question we'll have, of course, for everybody that's watching in on live and also for KC is, what did you guys think of the first round of the NFL draft?
I mean, I thought it went pretty smooth. We heard about all the potential hiccups and all the, they had a run through and everything. They had issues, and we never know what was going to happen. If some team was going to hit the double zeros and maybe have to give up that pick to another team. I was sort of rooting for chaos over here. We never really got it, but I think everything went smooth. They did the best that they could in the situation that they were in. Had a little fun, a little chalk at the top, and then a little fun at the back end. So I think for the most part, we're all just happy to have some semblance of sports and to kill 3 or 4 hours on a weeknight with the current situation.
No, I definitely agree, KC. It seems like it was kind of normal with everything that's going on. So, like you said, to have some type of normalcy it was definitely a good thing. We have John Alcorn out here said it was surprising and shocking. I definitely agree. The first round was something that definitely was something that was definitely crazy. And then also too, like you said too, with the technical difficulties, there weren't too many, but there were a couple that were pretty noticeable. Roger Goodell, I don't know if anybody caught that or not. Roger Goodell said, "See you guys next year."
He said 2020, right? Okay, I'm over here
He
like
said, "See you
no
next
one's
year,
acknowledging that.
2020
I'm looking
draft
at
in Vegas." And then he said, then he backdoored. At least he said it with confidence. He said, "Now to get to this year's 2020 NFL
I
draft."
looked at Twitter. I was looking for someone to point out that he flubbed
Oh
that.
no, I
No
saw
one
that.
said it, and I was like, maybe I'm hearing things. Maybe my
Nah,
connection was bad, and he did say 2022. I don't know.
no, this is the reason why we're talking because I know I definitely heard that. I'm happy you heard that too because as you can see, this is the only people that caught that because you didn't see on ESPN none of that.
Oh, they were trying to let all that stuff go, I
Oh
think.
yeah, right. They had to. So we're just going to show a couple on the bottom screen. You'll see the picks, the first 8 picks of the draft. We'll start off, of course, with Mr. Burrow. I think everybody was, pretty. It was pretty
Oh,
obvious
yeah.
that Burrow was going to go first.
No
It wasn't
surprise.
anything surprising on that. Of course, pick number 2, Chase Young. Again, pretty obvious on that.
Yes.
I mean, the only reason why I think that they wouldn't have, and I said earlier in the pre show, was the only reason why they wouldn't have got him is if they would have went for Isaiah Simmons if they felt that he was that highly touted and wanted to put him in that type of system. But it seems like they are going to go ahead and get. I mean, sorry, they went ahead and got Chase Young, and it seems like they're going to be a cornerstone for that defense.
Yeah, and you got guys coming on both sides of that now. After them moving up to get Sweat last year. I mean, it's they've got the beginnings. If they fix that ownership situation, they'd be all right.
No, I definitely agree. You have to have all three phases to be able to win a
This
championship.
is very true.
I
They
say this
don't
all the time.
working on the
You
other
have
side.
management, coaching, and players. If they are not on the same page, it is very, very hard to win a championship. So we'll get to pick number three. Honestly, it was very surprising for me for Acuna to go with pick number three for Detroit. Let's be real. I think that was a very Detroit move.
I like the pick there. I kind of thought they were going to back out of that pick and trade out. I think my only real surprise there was that they, we heard the reports all week that they were talking about, getting all these calls and potentially moving out. And they held pat and got what they got a good player there. I'm happy with what they did. I'm not a Lions fan, but good move on their part, I think.
It's just let's just be real. It looks like Ohio State is becoming the new DBU with all the picks that have come out in the past 5 years when it comes to DBs. It's kind of hard for me to judge these DBs that come out of Ohio State until they get into the NFL and until they actually start playing, because some of these guys don't really, reach their potential like an Eli Apple, or some of these guys, is a really good player like a Marshawn Lattimore, and we have other guys that of course went to Ohio State. They're still playing at a high level right now, but I don't know yet with Acuna. I don't know if I see it yet. What about you?
Like I said, I like the pick. That's who we on Just Another Football Show had penciled in there at that pick if they didn't trade out. Like I said, I think I'm just more surprised that they didn't trade out. I would be interested to hear what offers they had for that spot. They've got some needs, and I think they probably, especially, looking at it from the end, hindsight is always 2020. Some of these players that sort of slipped down the back end of the draft, I think they probably could have panned out a lot better had they moved back. But we'll never know what those offers were and what they could have had.
What we will see is we'll see 3 years from now down the line.
That's true.
It all pans out. So
absolutely.
Pick number 4, the Giants. They go offensive line, and again, it looks like they are trying to protect Danny Dimes. Like
Need to. If he's your future, man, you gotta keep him safe. Gotta keep him upright. You can't have these guys going. How many quarterbacks have we seen that are looked at as a bust because they went to the wrong situation? It could have been great, but never got the chance to shine. They got to keep him upright.
Yep, I definitely agree. And with that pick, I think again, it shows that the Giants are committed with bringing in, with Garrett from the Cowboys to come in and coach him up and try to be, I guess, the quarterback for the future for the Giants. So it looks like they're all in for the Giants.
Gotta be.
All right, pick number 5, of course. Looks like Tua came off. I didn't think that Tua would go. I know you commented earlier when we talked about it on Facebook. You said that they were going to get him.
I thought they were going to go for him. I've been back and forth on this. We talked about it on Just Another Football Show. We've sort of come to the conclusion that the Miami fans have just had it built up in their mind that they're going to get Tua. That Tua is the prize at the end of everything. So for them not to have gotten him, I think it would have been very disappointing for that fan base, and you would have seen some very upset people. Not that the team is taking all of that into consideration, but I think they've been sold on him for a while. They saw these videos of his workouts, thought he looked good, and they're going to take that step. I know a couple Dolphins fans that are very, very excited.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody's happy. Everybody gets what they want, and that's just one of 3 picks for the Dolphins that we'll talk about, later on. It seems like, of course, that was one of 3 that the Dolphins, made some pretty good picks on in this first round. But again, I think that's another pick we'll have to see 3 years from now and see how that forms, because let's be real, being a left-handed quarterback, it is a lot harder to play quarterback.
Oh, yes.
And also for receivers to catch a pass from a left-handed quarterback. So with that being said, you have to change your whole offense to fit Tua. I'm not saying it's harder. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is it's it's going to be a learning curve for some people that have never played with a left-handed quarterback. So we're going to see how that whole system works out and see, Tua get back to his 100% form, and we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to go well for him, but we'll see. It's a down the road thing. Hopefully, it looks good for him though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those fans deserve something.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Pick number 6, Los Angeles Chargers go with, I'm pretty sure, another pick that I think everybody kind of saw that coming. They were going to the Chargers. It looks like he is going to be the guy for the future that, for the Chargers and that new organization going into that new stadium.
Yeah, I mean, they need a quarterback. I don't think Tyrod Taylor's getting it done for him, but I was kind of sold on them taking Isaiah Simmons here and sort of just stouting that defense up. They've got to play my Chiefs twice a year. That's a tough thing to do. The Chargers have been one of the better defenses that play them regularly. If you go back and look at those games, they usually are closer than most, and adding another defensive piece would have really helped them there. But like I said, they needed a quarterback, so who's to say they couldn't have got Justin Herbert later? I don't know who would have jumped the gun and taken him there, but I think they made the right move here.
I definitely agree. I mean, you can't go wrong with that pick. I think because you have to have somebody to look forward to that have that hope going to.
They're trying to sell tickets out there in LA, and that's the way to do it.
And
maybe.
And let's be real, he's a guy that can sell, that can sell tickets. He's a guy that looks like he lives in the sands and the beaches anyway. So I think it's an easy pick for everybody.
Gonna love the situation.
Exactly. All right, pick number 7, Carolina Panthers go with Brown from Auburn, defensive tackle. I think that was again another easy pick for Carolina to get that line situated on the defensive side.
Fits an area of need. You're gonna hear that a lot, but that's I mean, there are some other positions that they're needy in, but with him falling here, I think it's a no-brainer.
I think they could have went either way. Of course, the better pick probably for Carolina is Brown, but I was surprised that they passed on Simmons because I just feel like Simmons is a guy that if he's there, you grab him.
I agree with you. I think jumping the gun a little bit. The Cardinals getting him at 8 is just a steal.
No, we can go right into pick number 8 after that. Yeah,
I think it was just a steal. There's a little concern. I was talking to a couple of buddies that maybe the Cardinals won't be able to utilize him correctly, but I mean, there's no way that they didn't just run that draft card to the virtual podium, knowing that he was still available at 8. That's great for them.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals got a steal, and I said that earlier that wherever Simmons goes, he's going to be a day one game changer for that team. So now on the offensive side, of course, you don't have just Murray and of course Fitzgerald. Now you have Hopkins because of that great trade from the Texans. Great job out there, Houston Texans. And of course, now you have a defensive guy that can come in and hopefully change that whole defensive mindset from day one. And you add a couple more pieces on that defensive side, and I'm already counting the Cardinals as a team to look out for the next year already.
Yeah,
because I'm not saying win a division, but would not be surprised they sneak into the wild card spot, seeing how we have two wild cards.
Yeah, that extra spot, man. You never know.
I would not be surprised if the Arizona Cardinals.
Rams going to finish last.
No.
I
agree with you on that one. I might agree with you on that one.
I've been calling the demise of the Rams for years. So you give me shit on my show about it. So.
Woo. Yeah, the Rams are looking. We'll see. Hey, you got golf, right?
Yeah, they do.
All right. Big
hitter.
Pick number 9. Shout out to Jacksonville, a AFC South foe for me. They get a Henderson cornerback from Florida. It seems like.
Got to reset on that defense, right?
Exactly. I said the same thing when they picked them. It just get rid of Calais Campbell and of course defensive lineman. I can't remember his name right now.
They've been fire selling. I mean, they got rid of Ramsey last year. I mean, he didn't want to be there, but they got a lot to pick up on that defense. We went over the course of a couple of years being one of the best defenses in the league to being nobody's for the most part. So they're trying to rebuff that. We'll see that again later when they pop up. So we'll see. You know, I think it's another one. We'll see if it pans out or not. But these corners can be a little tricky. But you know, best available, and they need to boost that defense.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And again, this is one of those easy in-state type of picks. It seems like you've watched them over.
Sell some jerseys.
You watched them the whole college career, being there in Florida, and you feel like it's an easy pick, easy sell jerseys type of pick. So let's go ahead and get them. Hey, good job out there, Jacksonville. You're making your residents proud. Pick number 10, Cleveland Browns. We have Willis Jr., offensive lineman out of Alabama. Again, one of those picks that it seems like they are all in on Baker Mayfield, and it seems like, hey, we're going to do what we can do to help you out, and if you don't perform, hey, you might time to move on.
They need to. I mean, I think the change up top and get him some protection. I'm a guy that's buying Baker stock this year. The hot take, I'm buying some Baker stock, and I might be selling a little Lamar stock. We'll see what's up, but I think Baker can be a lot better with the right coaching leading him, and maybe understanding, hey, get your stuff together and don't take a little coaching. I think he's going to be better this year. We'll see, and they are doing their part to keep him upright, which they did not do last year.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. As much as I love Baker, I think he's not just a pretty good quarterback. I think he's a really good guy off the field.
Oh, absolutely.
But how many times are we going to have to give him chances to say, get your stuff together?
You're not wrong. I just said it, so can't tell you're wrong.
It's one of those things. So, anyways, pick number 11, the New York Jets, with Becton, offensive tackle from Louisville. I think, again, one of those offensive lineman picks that, hey, we're going to go with our quarterback, Sam Darnold, and we're going to see from there. It seems like a lot of these organizations are sticking with certain some of these certain younger franchise type of quarterbacks, and they are going to rebuild with them. And it seems the same way from the Jets to the Browns, and also with Jacksonville with Minshew. It seems like whatever quarterback they have, they're going to stick with them for now.
Yeah, you say that with Minshew, and it's something I didn't even think about, but you're absolutely correct. The other thing to think about here with the Jets that was pointed out to me that I should have thought about as a big fan, but not only are we keeping Sam Darnold upright, but we're maybe opening up that running lane for Le'Veon Bell, whom did not have the most productive season last year, and we've seen do much better things when he has a great offensive line. So maybe open things up for him as well here.
I definitely agree on that, and I mean, let's be real. It might be Le'Veon's last year.
I don't know, man. I was big on Le'Veon after, but after last year, it's tough to be. It's tough. I think he's found himself in a bad situation, but he's not getting out of there anytime soon. So have to make do.
Looks like we have Steve Palmek. It looks like he's not too.
Oh, it's a buddy of mine.
He said, "I got to go to bed, guys. If you could, I would just skip to the Ravens recap. That'd be swell. Just playing.
Oh, Steve.
Stock. How many beers you've had, bro?
Steve's my man. I love Steve. He's a good guy. Yeah, big Ravens fan. Constant on our show over here. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but little regression. Little regression is going to happen.
I mean, and again, I'm not saying this because we beat them. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
I did say it at one point.
I'm not saying this because we beat them. I'm saying this because as much as I like Lamar Jackson as a quarterback, he has to get better from the pocket. I will say it. I've said that since day one. I will say that until the cows come home. If he does not get better from throwing in the pocket and not using his legs, first instincts like Patrick Mahomes, he's able to extend the pocket by using his legs. Lamar it's just gone out there. He's the best athlete out there. But for right now, we need him to be. If you want him to win Super Bowls, he has to be the best quarterback.
Yeah, I think teams. We just see it. We see defenses catch up with offenses. It's how the NFL works. I think a lot of teams are going to look at that playoff game last year and sort of think maybe they have a blueprint on how to not necessarily stop Lamar, but how to slow him down. So, exactly. And that's what you got to do at this point.
All right.
Where do we leave off?
just let you know, Steve said he loves you too.
Oh, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
All right, let's get back to like I said, pick number 12. The new Las Vegas Raiders goes with Ruggs from Alabama, wide receiver out of Alabama. I mean, let's be real. After the first pick, I'm sorry, that was the first wide receiver, pick off the board, and it was either between Ruggs or Jared Judy and whatnot. And I'm really surprised that Jared Judy wasn't taken first, because it seemed like Jared Judy was the one that everybody had off their board taking first.
Raiders like their speed, man.
Yeah. I mean, this is very true.
I saw a couple of really good tweets out there about him and Tyreek going head to head a couple times a year.
Really?
About some foot races and overtime instead of actual football. So there was some fun stuff out there. I mean, it's the Raiders. They take the fast guy. It's what they do, right? Like, it doesn't matter who's pulling the strings, who's doing what. They like their speed.
This is very true. All right, pick number 13, Tampa Bay. Of course, do what I expected them to do, and that's help out Tommy Boy and get them some offensive lineman help. And they go with Russ from Iowa, and get them a big country boy out there. You should know.
Oh yeah. Tristan Wirfs, my boy, man. Yeah, I'm an Iowa fan, so I can talk about. I mean, only one. We thought maybe we might sneak in a second draft pick here in the first round. Didn't happen. There was a little part of me that hoped my Chiefs might sneak in and take him, but. I mean, yeah, Tom Brady needs protected. He needs to stay upright. This system with Bruce Arians, I think, is going to put some pressure on Tom Brady. He's got to be able to sit back there and throw the ball deep. He's going to need a little more time, and they're going to have to do that. I think that was part of the deal when they brought him in. Was, hey, we promise you, we're going to go draft an offensive lineman, and we're going to keep you upright. That is our plan, because we've all said for years and years and years, the plan to beat Tom Brady is to hit him and frustrate him. If you can't do that, we'll see what happens.
And it's funny too. I mean, it's not, I want to say funny, but it's kind of weird to see them go from one pick up to trade up, just one pick to get them.
That's the Niners, man. The Niners did this last year. Whatever it was with Trubisky 2 years ago. They all blend together. When we had an actual draft and people and things. But, they did this with Trubisky. They just know how to work that board and talk teams into believing they're going to do something, whether or not they are. I've got one of my buddies that co-hosts the show with me is a Niners fan. He was convinced he was going to get Wirfs. He's also an Iowa fan, was just pumped. And then the little trade icon popped up on the bottom corner. And he was like, damn, they just traded him. So, whether or not they were going to take him, I think leaves some thought there. But they made the Bucs believe they were going to, and got a little something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I think it works for everybody. I think Tampa Bay gets what they want. San Francisco gets what they want.
Niners got what they wanted. Absolutely.
It works out for everybody.
Yeah.
So San Francisco, of course, they moved 14 and they get Kinlaw, defensive tackle from South Carolina, which I think is a win. Again, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, no, they
gets their lineman. San Francisco gets their lineman.
They basically, they traded away to get this pick, and they made a replacement for that trade at a fifth of the price. They're going to get a rookie price out there on their defensive line, which is what they needed to do. They can't pay all those number one picks that were out there on that D line. So this works out perfectly for them.
I definitely agree. And we go into pick number 15. Denver gets Jared Judy. Of course,
steal.
I agree, but
don't like it. As a Chiefs fan, don't like it.
Well, here's the thing: do you really feel like the quarterback for Denver,
Drew Lock?
Drew Lock. Do you really feel like Drew Lock is your guy?
I think they believe Drew Lock is their guy. I know a couple Broncos fans. I do believe that they did look better with him under center last year. I take that for what it's worth. We'll see. He's got to, go through a year of camp if we get that far and actually, start a season and be the starter and everything on his shoulders. It sort of changes things other than, aside from coming in midseason like he did and winning some games and looking very good. I think getting him some weapons is going to do nothing but make him look better. They needed that. And, this offense is looking a little scary now, assuming the quarterback position pans out.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest concern. I mean, I think everybody feels like Jerry Judy can come in and go and produce no problems, but
Two good running backs. They
yeah,
got
but
Cortland Sutton on the other side.
it's not Drew Lock, honestly. It's John Elway being the GM picking these quarterbacks over the last 5 years and not panning out is the biggest problem. So it's like, do you really feel like Drew Lock is that guy, or are you just saying it to save face right now so you won't get fired?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fair that he has not drafted very well in previous years. See how it pans out. Give him a season and see.
Yeah, definitely agree. All right, pick number 16, Atlanta Falcons go with Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. I mean, this seems like Atlanta got
Area of
what
need.
they needed,
Yeah.
agency wise. So to pick up a cornerback like that, I think it fits right in on what they're just trying to add in on both sides, offensive and defensive wise.
Yeah, Falcons are in win now mode. I mean, they are going into a very terrible cap situation. We constantly refer to it on my show as cap hell that they're going into. They're not. It's not looking pretty for them, but they have all the pieces currently. So if they can win now, it sort of takes a little pressure off of going forward. And this was a piece of need for them. So good work out of them, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick. I just want to see how this Falcons team is going to come together because let's be real, they always have talent. They have talent every year.
Yeah.
But we got to see how this team comes together. So speaking of steals, I think the biggest steal of the draft, number 17, Dallas Cowboys getting CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. I mean, let's be real.
I don't know, man.
You don't think CeeDee Lamb?
No. He's great. He's a great player. I with this Dallas Cowboys pick, I don't know if this was so much a great pickup for them. I think obviously putting him in that offense is great, but I think somebody may have whispered in Jerry's ear and said, "Hey, we don't want the Eagles to draft him a couple picks later." So can you do something here?
It's funny you say that because I've actually got somebody that told me the same thing that they feel like the Eagles was going to get him, and the Cowboys wanted to do it because that's what Jerry Jones liked to do, and let's go ahead and shove it to the Eagles and want to go ahead and steal them off the board before they get them.
I mean, when you're that close, I don't think that you really thought the teams between those were going to take one. I guess maybe Jacksonville, but probably not. Raiders took one earlier. Dolphins really weren't in the market for one. The Jags, they're trying to build their defense. So I think that if the Dallas Cowboys hadn't taken him here, he would have fallen to the Eagles. And, I don't think that's 100% what was on the mind, but it's definitely in the back of Jerry Jones' mind to not help the team inside the division there. And this is going to be a 2-horse race for this division next year between those two teams, in my opinion. So good work not helping them out, I suppose.
I mean, I look at it both ways. I look at it as not helping out the Eagles, but then also if you look at the offense, Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, healthy Zeke,
absolutely.
This is be a pretty decent offense coming in. And with Mike McCarthy, it's not going to be a Jason Garrett offense. So this should be a pretty decent offense coming into next year. And I'm expecting at least 10 wins out of Cowboys next year. I
agree with you. They are a very high. If you look at the betting odds, they are up there real high for NFC Super Bowl. Topic for you to talk about later on another show sometime. I believe Dak Prescott should hold out, but that's just me. I mean, Cowboys want to win now. They're going to pay him if he decides he wants to hold out. But this offense is stacked now, especially now that they've added CeeDee Lamb here. There's no reason that this offense shouldn't be popping off and putting up a lot of points.
Well, shout out to Steve. He said Cowboys are going 8-8.
I mean, it's the most expensive 8-8 pick all season, so we'll see.
We shall see. So pick number 18, Miami back up again, and they get their offensive tackle Jackson out of Southern Cal. How you feel about that pick?
I love it. They gotta keep Tua upright. We talked about this earlier. We got these kids that how many have we seen come out of the draft to a team and don't live up their potential because they are drafted to a bad team. Keep them upright. I wouldn't be surprised to see them tomorrow take another offensive lineman early second round because that's important. You got to keep Tua upright. You got to give him time, and you got to get your offense clicking. That's the best way to go about it, is to keep him upright.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Being able to help out that offensive line and be able to solidify that line and help out Tua, because it seems like, of course, you got Tua that first pick. It seems like he's going to be your guy, so you got to help him out, stay upright. So easy pick on there. Number 19, Las Vegas Raiders up again. They get our net cornerback out of Ohio State again. It seems like Ohio State with these cornerbacks. It's just, I mean,
It ain't just cornerbacks. They're all over this draft board. But I mean, you'll see this. You've seen this a couple spots. We'll talk about it probably a little bit later, I think, here with the Chargers jumping back in. This team knows who they play twice a year. They've got Kansas City twice a year. You need at least one strong corner to hold it down. So that defense wasn't terrible last year, but this helps them out quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm not gonna lie, I definitely did not think about at all. Is Raiders? Of course, you have to win you don't have to win your division to go to the playoffs.
Still got to play them twice. That's 2 games.
Win your division, it does allow you to have a home playoff game. So, for you to be able to at least maybe win one of your games against the Chiefs, because you have some corners that can at least not stop, but at least slow down, contain those receivers that you guys have. That definitely does help out.
Yeah.
All right, so pick number 20, Jacksonville goes with, I think, another one of the sleeper picks, Levon Chasen, edge rusher out of LSU. I think he's a guy that's not developed fully yet, and hopefully Jacksonville can develop him. We shall see. Unfortunately, I mean, let's be real, Jacksonville doesn't really have the reputation for developing their players.
No, that's absolutely fair, but they're just rebuilding that defense. We talked about it earlier. That's what we knew they were going to do coming into here. No real surprise here. That there was a world where maybe we thought with that first pick they might go quarterback. Maybe they're more sold on Minshew than the rest of us. I'm not even convinced they're sold on him. We watched them go back and forth with him and Foles last year. Mm-hmm. Lots of picks thrown between the two of them and a back and forth. So I'm not really sure what they're doing other than doing it terribly, but we'll see. They got to build that defense. You got to stop the rest of the teams in that division who have, generally speaking, high-powered offenses.
I definitely agree. We'll see. That's one of those things where we'll see 3 years from now how that pans out, because I think he can be somebody that can be in the league for a long time and that can wreak havoc. But a lot of times, players unfortunately are not able to meet their potential in the league because they don't go to the right organization.
Yeah.
And we see that a lot, unfortunately. So we'll see how that pans out. All right, pick number 21, Philadelphia Eagles go Ragnar, wide receiver out of TCU. Looks like Eagles do what they do, and that's Eagles fly, and go get them another wide receiver.
Man, they needed a wide receiver. We saw the graphics all season long on. I mean, they were playing guys off the street. That's not, a lot of it was due to injury. So we're not blaming the coaching staff or general manager for not having weapons there. They had weapons there. They just were plagued with injuries last season. Little surprised that they didn't go Kenneth Murray here at linebacker. It's what I expected the pick to be. But, I mean, wide receiver's so deep this year that they probably could have got someone later. But, you see a guy you like, take him, and they must have here.
No, I definitely agree. We might as well let's go ahead and blame Wentz. Everybody likes to blame Wentz. Blame
Wentz. He's got to stay healthy.
That's the main thing. And on a serious note, that's we'll see this year. This year is a big year for Wentz. I think Wentz and the Eagles as a whole. I think this is the year to see if he's really going to be the guy, because I have a lot of Eagle faithful friends that feel like he is the guy.
Oh yeah. So, got a couple buddies that are huge Eagles guys. If he can stay healthy, he's a great quarterback. We'll see, but it's going to be a contest. That division is going to shake down to those two teams, I think, very clearly, and it'll be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Eagles. That's Eagles and Cowboys division. I really don't see the Giants and Redskins really do anything too much with that one.
Oh no.
Pick number 22, Minnesota. They get another wide receiver. Of course, replace Diggs, the Jefferson out of LSU. I think that's, a perfect pick to go alongside Thielen.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're just replacing what you traded away with that pick. You know, maybe a little less attitude in the locker room, a little less, hey, look at me. Good to go.
Yeah, I agree. Pick number 23, like you just talked about with the Chargers, Murray, linebacker out of OU.
The Chargers sneaking back in here to the first round. So I think that's to be noted a little bit. The Patriots are more than welcome to, more than willing to move back, grab a couple more picks. I think they will be looking at a quarterback later in this draft. We'll see. There's still some good names out there on the board. We'll see who they start the season with. I don't believe that the quarterback that starts week 1 is on their roster currently, but Chargers take this opportunity, go up, get a linebacker. We talked about it. You've got to stop the Chiefs. You got to stop. I mean, even the Raiders with someone like Josh Jacobs, you've got to be able to stop. So it's a great move out of them, and it will probably work out.
Yeah, I think that's something that Chargers are. If you look at that defense, as secondary wise, they've already got that built up.
Yeah. That defense is great. I mean, even looking at like I said, the Raiders, they got to stop Josh Jacobs. But if you look over at the Broncos, they've got Philip Lindsay and Melgo now. So you got to be able to stop those guys. And I think this is the great pick to do that.
No, I think you're definitely correct on that one. Pick number 24, New Orleans, Ruiz from Michigan, center out of Michigan. Of course, another lineman to help out Drew Brees there.
Anchor on that line, man. If you need a center, go get a good one and don't look back. That's the thing. It's not a sexy pick, that's for sure. No one's gonna lose their mind because you drafted a center. But man, if there's a good one out there, go get them and don't look back.
Yeah, like you said, it's not a sexy pick, but it's a pick that definitely helps out your investment, which is Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Pick number 25, San Francisco with Ayuk. Definitely hate saying these names because
some of them are rough. I'm letting you do them.
Oh my goodness,
some of them are rough.
Wide receiver out of Arizona State. Looks like, and like they talked about in the broadcast on ESPN, it looks like Herman Edwards got him a second wide receiver to go first round. Back-to-back drafts. That is very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they needed a wide receiver. Like I said, I got a buddy that's a huge Niners fan. We anticipated seeing them taking a wide receiver. I didn't think it was going to be today. I thought it would end up being later in the draft, but the way that it shook out, they saw who they liked and decided they wanted to move up from that 31 spot. I really thought that they were the prime target to move out of that 31 spot if someone wanted to hop back in and get a quarterback. But we'll talk about that coming up in a couple picks. I don't know that there was one there that someone wanted in the first round.
Yeah, I'm not
the
surprised.
Next pick, I suppose.
No, I'm not surprised that San Francisco went wide receiver. I'm just surprised that they picked Ayuk, not because he's not good or anything like that. I just thought they would be looking at Laviska Schneider. Again, these names are killing me. But I'm surprised that he wasn't picked in the first round. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. Going to pick number 26, Green Bay Packers, which I think might have rose some eyebrows with
man
Rodgers.
I
don't
was
know about you, but it kind of reminded me of Blast in the Past with Aaron Rodgers getting picked and Brett Favre feeling some type of way.
It came up that it came up pre-draft. Here's a list of teams who have quarterbacks that are 35 or older and that maybe will be looking at a quarterback end of the first round, early second round. I didn't think it would be this early. Again, I think that maybe some teams did some very good selling that they were interested or there were other teams interested in moving up to that spot to pick up Jordan Love. But the Packers have done Aaron Rodgers no favors in his career in the first round. They have not drafted skilled position players. So nothing changes here. And they draft his apparent successor. I don't know. I had to check on some Packers fans after this to see how they felt because
I might have to do this.
I don't know how I'd have felt about it if I was a Packer fan. Though I'll tell you, when my Chiefs moved up to take Mahomes, I was not a happy person that year. So you can go back, check the tape. We can scroll right through the Just Another Football Show stuff. All those shows are still up there. You can go back and listen to me. I was an Alex Smith guy. I was very upset about that move. And
I'm pretty sure okay with it now.
Oh, I love it now, and I own it. I'm fine with it. But I think there's some Packer fans out there that are not happy. They watched their team get waxed by the Niners, and they didn't do anything to make their team better here if they were to get in the same position this year. And that's exactly where Kansas City was. I watched the Chiefs lose to your Titans in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And a good time. There were some injuries and whatever. I won't go into it, but I thought this team was able to still win games and play well. And here we are investing in someone who's not helping us now. I feel like that might be how a lot of Green Bay Packer fans feel right now. And we'll see. Like you said, this is the ultimate. You're going to have to give it a few years test to see how this pans out and where it's at. I'm very interested, especially with the current, how contracts work out. He's not going to see the playing field for a while, right? So he's going.
I mean,
I'm interested. Tell me he's going
the
to.
last couple of years of Aaron Rodgers with his collarbone and a little bit of, a little missing couple games here, a little missing couple games there. Like you just said, he's 35 and older. He's not a young quarterback anymore. Last time he won a Super Bowl was about 10 years ago. So I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I love me some A-Rod, but is he over the hump? Is his time coming? Do the Green Bay Packers know something that we don't know? There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, it really is interesting. And jumping up this far is really what kind of blew my mind. I thought if any team was coming back into the first round to pick up a quarterback, it was going to be that 31-32 spot. The Niners were looking to pick up some draft capital. They could get out of that spot. Kansas City, I'm sure, would have had no problem moving back. I thought it was going to be the Colts coming back in to the first round to pick up a quarterback. They've got Rivers on a 1-year deal. They're going to have to do something after this year. I feel like we'll see. But, yeah, Jordan Love to the Packers. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the Colts, right quick, another Division 4 for AFC
There you go.
South. It seems like they're gonna go all in on Rivers. It's gonna be a 1-year thing. And
I don't know, man.
I don't think they even have a future. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they're really looking like that long term right now.
I'm interested.
The thing with Phillip Rivers is go ahead and get him, and we'll work around it. That's just the thing. I think that's what they saw.
I'm interested to see him play with an offensive line. He hasn't done it in a while, but man, Phillip Rivers is that guy. 3 minutes left in the game that's throwing interceptions. It's just my team's played him twice a year for years. Phillip Rivers is one of the guys in the league that I absolutely hate to watch the most. He's just a crybaby. But with an offensive line, with some weapons, see how it pans out there.
I mean, Phillip Rivers he's a really good quarterback.
Can be.
He's a good quarterback when it doesn't matter. But when it matters, we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely accurate.
So it's like even though you get the name Phillip Rivers for the Colts, that doesn't mean that you're going to be getting this 24-year-old spry Phillip Rivers that played with Antonio Gates anymore. This is an older. I have 8 kids. We're about to ride up in the minivan into training camp, and I'm honestly probably not even going to come to training camp because I'm old and I don't want to be here. But he's going to be there, of course, because he wants to, make a good impression on everybody and all that good stuff. But I don't really see Phillip. This is not Peyton Manning going to Denver Broncos. This is not Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, so let's not get it twisted, everybody. Let's not act like Phillip Rivers is the savior for the Colts. But we'll see this year. Anyways, back to the draft. Sorry about that. We took a little left.
Little tangent. It happened.
Pick number 27, Seattle. I thought they would go safety. Looks like they went linebacker with Brooks out of Texas Tech.
I mean, yeah, they're trying to replace players here, I suppose. Still some good safeties on the board, so I kind of agree with you. I'm surprised that McKinney fell all the way out of the first round.
Yeah,
as high of a grade as he was at. I mean, I knew my Chiefs weren't taking him, but I thought maybe someone else would sneak out and take him before the end of this first, and it did not happen. They're maybe trying to replace Clowney here at the linebacker position. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, reports are Clowney. From what I've heard, apparently Seattle and Clowney are not in the right terms of negotiating, so it does not look like he's going to be returning.
I think it's even less likely now.
Yes. I mean, it looks like Seattle say, hey, we're going to go ahead and get our linebacker and keep him moving. Pick number 28 with Baltimore. It looks like they get a linebacker as well. They go with Queen from
I mean,
LSU.
they ran this draft pick to the virtual podium, right? I mean, talking to Steve, if he's still out there, we were talking about it. I thought maybe Swift was going to be the pick here. Not sure about their running back position beyond Mark Ingram, and I mean, age always plays a factor, and these running backs aren't getting multiple contracts now, so I don't know what we're sitting at with Ingram, but with Patrick Queen on the board, they couldn't turn that down, and probably ran that pick to the podium.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. And I actually had my boy Datman Dooley on the pre-draft show, and he actually said the same thing with Baltimore, getting Swift being that first running back off the board, to help out the running game with Lamar Jackson. He thought that would be a pick that Baltimore wanted to look at, but it seemed like they didn't go that route, and they wanted to beef up their defense with a pretty hellified linebacker with Queen. Pick number 29, of course, my Tennessee Titans. We get Wilson, lineman out of Georgia. One of those safe picks. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really too happy about, not really too ecstatic seeing how we have plenty of athletes still on the board. I just felt like we should have been a little bit more aggressive in the first round, especially because you have those guys out there that I feel like you can make a play that can go out there and be a playmaker and make a difference day one. But that is one of those safe picks that you want to go and make sure you help beef up the line. Make sure you still have your running game going with Derrick Henry and Tannehill. But what do you think?
Got to keep your franchise quarterback upright, right?
Yeah. I feel the same.
I'm sorry, man.
The way I feel about Tannehill.
I know
about Mahomes. So, until you win me a Super Bowl, I'll get you your jersey and whatnot.
I don't trust Tannehill. I'm not. I don't know. I don't get it. It's whatever, but still got to keep him upright, I suppose. So
yes. So we'll keep him upright. Pick number 30, last pick for Miami Dolphins. Honestly, I'm not going to say the last name because I don't know how to say it. So I'm Noah, cornerback out of Auburn. Last name starts with an I, but first name Noah. Cornerback out of Auburn, of course. Parents Olympic athletes. He's an athlete himself. I think that's a really good pick for Miami. But of course, like they talked about in the draft, they still have Xavier Howard and I'm sorry, one more cornerback. I forgot, but they have two pretty touted cornerbacks already, and to add another one, it's kind of like, are you sure you want to do that? But it's all about competition, I know. So
yeah, I mean, they could probably shop one of those guys if they wanted to. I mean that's projecting, but there was a little bit of a reach from the way everything sounded. Kind of thought that maybe Swift was going to come off the board here, and did not happen. I was kind of celebrating here after they did not take Swift because I thought maybe my Chiefs were going to take him. Though I think our pick fits the system a little better, but I mean we'll see how it pans out. I am interested to see how that position shakes out because now you've got three guys, and who's interested in maybe playing something else. They can always convert guys around. Guys get older, they maybe play a little more safety than corner. So, that may have been a conversation that they had prior to this. One of those guys, it's possible. Hey, you're gonna play a little safety this year. Hey, sounds good. Let's do it. So, we'll see what happens.
No, I definitely agree, and of course, your guy Steve, he's like he's still out here. He said, "Thank God he
appreciate you, Steve."
Behind the D line, and I definitely agree with Steve out there.
You're gonna have to,
No, I definitely agree.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. Pick number 31, Minnesota. They get Gladly for cornerback out of TCU. Looks like TCU do what they do best, and they just have undercover athletes. That's what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Vikings able to move back here and acquire a little bit and still get a corner. That's a good move out of them. They're trying to build up and take over that division, which maybe they can do. We'll see.
Yeah, I think again, depending on how great Green Bay is when it comes to. It's not about talent. It's going to be about what goes on in the locker room when it comes to egos, when it comes to this whole, situation with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna be some question marks in Green Bay. So we'll see how
I
that division is.
saw some joking tweets about Bill Belichick on the phone asking about Aaron Rodgers. So,
Lord. Oh
so
Lord.
man, the football world's gonna hate you guys if this
Woo.
happens.
You ain't lying.
Stop.
And of course, last pick of the first round of the 2020 NFL draft, virtual draft, the Super Bowl defending champions, Kansas City Chiefs. They pick Hilaire, running back out of LSU, who is also the national championship defending national champions.
Champions joining champions.
Champions joining champions.
We talked through a buddy of mine did his mock draft on our show last week, and he called this pick. So kudos to him. He was doing a lot of talking when this pick happened because I was convinced it was going to be Swift. Once the Dolphins made their pick, I knew the Vikings weren't taking him. I was convinced it was going to be Swift. He has pointed out time and time again that he fits the pick. He fits the system a lot better. He is an Andy Reid style running back. I haven't been sold on our running back position for a while, and right now the Chiefs are trying to run it back. They're not looking at next year, or the year after next. Rather, they're looking at next year. They're not. Well, we will deal with those problems when tomorrow comes. Is where we're at. It could be a huge problem. Sammy Watkins is going to go. They're going to have to pay Patrick Mahomes. Chris Jones is going to have to get paid. There's a lot of things that have to happen. But for now, let's just add some more speed on this offense and make defenses stretch and make offenses try to keep up. And it's a strategy that I really, really love. And let's go back and try to do it back to back.
Well, you definitely have the weapons for it. You have the horses for it. You have the scheme for it. So I'll say right now, the only team that's stopping you guys are yourselves. And again, this isn't because I'm telling you this because we lost to you guys. I'm telling you this because of what I see and what I see as a complete team.
Yeah.
You guys have it. You have that. They have that next year to be able to turn it on, even when things aren't clicking. And that's what's scary about you guys is being able to be down, by 20 against the Texans or by 10 against the Titans and be able to come back and win a champion or win a game and be able to still go to Super Bowl and of course win that as well. Casey. All right. Looks like my guy KC fell on the feed, unfortunately. All right. All right. Unfortunately, looks like my boy KC fell out of the feed. Looks like we were pretty much done with the show, anyways. Thank God we was able to get through it before he fell out. I just want to say I appreciate everybody that was tuning in for this live feed, post draft show. Um, Check us out, Sports Plug, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links will be on the Instagram page and also, of course, on the YouTube page. Check you guys out next time. See you on Monday for our 30 for 30 recap of Michael Jordan's The Last Dance with another special guest.